What is happening, you beautiful people? Welcome back to another Comic-Con Africa interview. Today we have a special treat. We have your boy, the anime man, Joey Bizinger. Did
your
I mention
boy.
I was a fan? I may have forgot to mention that. How you doing, Joey?
Now I know with that your boy introduction. It is your boy.
Like it is your boy.
I love it.
So how you doing on Japan side, Joey?
Yeah, I'm doing well. It's 3 in the afternoon right now. It's a lovely Sunday afternoon. And yeah, I'm keen to do this interview with you.
Oh, awesome. We're happy to have you. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. You are the first AniTuber being interviewed, so pioneering, my dude. Pioneering.
Cool.
So just to help the fans out, we're going to start off by just introducing Joey just a little bit, and then we'll get into some more interesting questions further down the line. So to kick things off, Joey, if you wouldn't mind, tell the fans, just introduce yourself, like who is the anime man, like what is it that you do, just like in general, day-to-day basis?
Well, if the name wasn't a giveaway, I am a man that talks about anime. That's basically all you need to know, really. I do pretty much I call myself the anime man, but you know, if it's anything otaku related, like manga, you know, Japanese games, Japanese culture, language, that kind of stuff, anything to stir up the weeb heart, if you will, I cover it if it's interesting enough. I tend to cover more the more unknown, weirder side of the otaku culture. So if you're coming to my channel for One Piece, Naruto reviews, then you probably won't find that kind of stuff on my channel. But everything else, any other weird stuff that you probably never heard of or wish you had never heard of, then I've got you covered.
Cursed videos for days, but you gotta love them.
Exactly.
So they also say if you love what you do, you will never work in a day in your life. Do you say this is true for what you do, or not really?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, YouTube and voice acting and streaming and that is technically my job, but I've never really found it a job. You know, like attending conventions and whatnot is technically my job, but I've never seen it like that. I mean, I wouldn't be doing it if I wasn't enjoying it, right? I would have quit YouTube years ago if I wasn't enjoying it. So yeah, I stand by that. If you do what you love and love what you do, is what I stand for.
Beautiful. So we also believe you are a man of more talents than just anime, as you already kind of hinted to in there with the voice acting and anime and YouTube. What are some of the other things you do? Like, what's a typical day in your life? Like, is it most of the time just YouTube, or is it interesting things in between?
I mean, yeah, I do some voice acting stuff on the side, you know, kind of professional, semi-professional stuff. I also write and perform a lot of music under my name Ikur, which is kind of like just a side thing. I've never really found that to be like a full-time thing. It's just something I want to do. I write a lot of stuff as well. Yeah, just, you know, all sorts of things. Anything that's creative and interesting enough and challenging enough, I like to do. I do some modeling as well. I do a lot of interviews, like kind of what you're doing to me right now. So yeah, just slide it. I do interviews and stuff like that too. So I'm totally not judging skill right now, but
No, I'm not letting you get away with just sliding that in there and then walking away from it. Modeling, excuse me.
Just, I do. I mean, I just slid it in there because it's not like a full-time thing. Like every now and then I do, you know, like clothes modeling and stuff like that. And I have an Instagram, so technically everyone's a model on Instagram, right? So I don't like to call myself a model though. I just like doing modeling stuff. Yeah, so I do that every now and then too.
This is a video topic right now. This should be a video topic. See the thumbnail. My time modeling. Oh.
Yeah.
So apart from being busy with your anime and YouTube channel, I've watched this. I don't know if anyone else has. Joey has a podcast with two other amazing boys, C-Dog VA, Connor, as well as Gigak or Gaunt. How's that going? Like, I watch it. I've seen all the episodes. I'm actually still need to catch up last week's episode. I'm like halfway through. But like, how's that going?
No worries.
Like, how's it? Is it fun? Is it entertaining? Is it a new venture you're really excited for?
Yeah, I mean, we've been around for what? As of us recording this interview, we are 16 episodes in, I think. So, roughly 4 months in currently, and it's doing great. I mean, we just hit 500,000 subscribers not too long ago, and it's way better than what we thought. I remember as well. Like, I remember when we started the podcast, and Garnt were like, "Wouldn't it'd be kind of cool if we could hit 100K by the end of the year, right? Like that'd be a pretty admirable goal to hit." And we hit that in like 2 weeks. So we're just like, "Oh shit, okay. I guess people really enjoy what we do." No, but no, Trash Taste is really fun because you know, all three of us, we are kind of pigeonholed into this topic of anime on our main channels, but the good thing about Trash Taste is that we can literally talk about anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be anime. If anything, most of our like
Nothing to do with anime.
memorable moments are those that have no. That's really cool, is to know that regardless of if it's anime themed or not. And we have like a lot of really cool place channel, so yeah, hope people look forward to that.
Yeah, just also like the probably should have prefaced this at the start of the question, but for those that don't know, like what's the Trash Take? Like you just said, it's not really specific to anime. So if you had to pitch Trash Taste to our audience, like to go and watch it, how would you pitch it to them right now?
It is, well, we like to call ourselves the worst anime podcast on the internet because that's what we think we are. But I guess if you just want to, I don't know, if you just want to listen to just three friends, because how we talk on the podcast is how we talk in real life. Like me, Connor, and Gon hang out all the freaking time, and the podcast is literally just the dumb conversations that we have off camera, but just with the camera turned on in front of us. So if you just want to, you know, just spend a week, you know, a day of the week just hanging out with us and just, you know, listening to our dumb conversations about anything and everything and, you know, the things we like, things we don't like, then come and listen to Trash Taste.
I can vouch it's entertaining. While I'm working, I have it on the background. It is very entertaining.
Oh, thank you.
It's a good laugh, 24/7. It was a good laugh.
Oh, thank you.
But on a side note, I must say it is a little concerning to hear that Connor's exactly the same. It's a little concerning. It's okay.
No, he loves it. He loves it though. It's all right.
No, yeah. I could see he enjoys being the monkey brain of the group. It seems to be his favorite thing.
Oh yeah,
cool.
Absolutely.
Oh, right. So as you've said, you travel to cons for your job. So, like, what are some of the cool places you've gone to, like, around the world, like here and there?
It's hard to say. I mean, I think, you know, I've been to plenty of cons in America and stuff like that, like all over America.
Yeah.
But some cons in Finland were really cool. One that we go to. When else would you ever go to Finland? And no offense, Finland, but but you know, it's like you don't really hear of people going to Finland all that often, right? So when the con in Finland asked us to come, we were like, yeah, absolutely, we'd love to go. And then because of that convention, we got to kind of do a couple of Europe trips around, you know, just a Europe vacation because we'd never been to Europe up until that point. So that was really fun. I went to some really cool conventions in Singapore. Singapore was a really cool convention. I got to go to a convention in my hometown in Australia, in Sydney, which was really fun. And yeah, just, I don't know, all over the place. There are so many more conventions we want to go to, I guess, like all around the world. And that's kind of the cool thing about going to conventions as like a job aspect, is that it doesn't feel like a job. It just feels like a vacation, essentially. So we're like, oh, cool. Let's just go to, I've never been to this country, and I don't know if I'll ever have the opportunity to go to this country. So if a con from that country asks me to go, then I'll absolutely go. And, you know, if it wasn't for this pandemic going on, I would have absolutely loved to have gone to Comic-Con Africa, because when else would I ever go to South Africa, right? So,
It's a fair statement.
yeah, so... Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You kind of attacked the next question as well, which is, have you ever been to South Africa? I'll take it from that previous statement. You have not.
No.
Been to South Africa.
No, but I would love to go, just because, yeah, I have a couple of friends back home in Australia who are from South Africa. Yeah, I'd love to go to South Africa. I think it'd be really cool.
No, we'd love to have you. We would love to have, kind of like all the other cons have, like a nice full anime panel. And I'm trying to get you, Aki, Sea-Dog, and Connor as just like one panel on your own, just so I can see chaos. I'm just an advocate for it.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great. That'd be great.
We want to get like a nice anime panel one of these days. And we would have loved with all the things going on. But if you can, one of these years come, we would love to have you. Like, absolutely love.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm sure Connor, Aki, and Gaunt would be equally happy to go and hang out as well.
I hope so. If not, you can someone drag them there.
Yeah, I'll drag them there. Don't worry.
It'll be nice and entertaining. We'll show you all the nice sights. It'll be great. You can enjoy the entire experience of South Africa. We'll keep you safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome.
So also, with going along with this note of conventions, you've met a lot of people, obviously, going to these conventions. You met a lot of fans, you've met a lot of other YouTubers, you've met a lot of general otakus just as you've been going about. What is your most memorable meetings? Like, just off the top of your head, like, can you remember any one that was just like, this I will never forget for the rest of my life? It could be weird, it could be amazing, it could be heartwarming, your choice.
At conventions, right?
Yeah, specifically at a convention you've been to. It doesn't have to be Comic-Con specific, just a anime-related convention that you've met someone.
I mean, we just talked about this on the podcast, but I mean, I didn't meet him. He just happened to be standing very, very close to me. But
oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's when I met Obata Takeshi, who is the illustrator for Death Note, and that was the one and only time in my life that I had a fanboy moment where that was the perfect opportunity to say hi to him at a convention setting where we were both guests at. And yet, the moment I saw his face, I couldn't say anything. I was just like dumbstruck. I was like, oh my god, that's Obata Takeshi. Yeah, so that's probably like super memorable. It's super memorable also in the fact that I highly regret not talking to him, because that was probably the only time I ever had the opportunity to talk to him, and I completely flubbed it. So, yeah, that's memorable in many senses of the term. Yeah.
Bittersweet. A bittersweet passing.
Very, very bittersweet.
No, I can just imagine, because you did preface this also in the podcast, how like you now understand how the fans sometimes when they look at you, they're just like, hi, and they're just like dead, and they're like,
yeah, and I'm just like, what's wrong? It's a weird feeling.
What do I do now? Yeah. But I mean, it is one of those things, like when you see someone you like admire, and I'm sure there's people who watch YouTube, because you've talked about it on your shows, you, Gaunt, and Connor all, where people like send you messages, that person called you, and just see brain.exe not found. Just
yeah, exactly.
It's just popping up in person is phenomenal to watch. Like just seeing it happen in real life, just the entertainment alone.
Yeah, it's great. It never gets old.
No, it never does. Cool. So we're going through quite quickly. So let's slow things down here for a little bit by sorry, Joey, this is the part where you might get a little bit more like, now I have to be a teacher. But we're going back to basics, anime fans. So, Joey, I'm going to give you some keywords, some jargon in our community, and I just want you to, as best you can, like even if it's just like I have no other way to explain it aside from one sentence, it happens.
Okay.
But try and explain these terms to our audience that maybe aren't anime fans that are interested, and you are their first introduction to the community. No pressure.
Okay. Okay. I'll do my best.
We'll start off nice and easy. Anime versus manga.
A dumb argument. That's all that is. It's a dumb argument. No. Real answer. Well, anime is an animated form of a Japanese-made cartoon, and a manga is a Japanese-born and produced comic book, essentially. One is on the TV, and the other is on a piece of paper.
Basically, nice and simple. All right, let's go along with that. Otaku.
Otaku is the Japanese word which means a fanatic of something. So I guess like overseas, most people label the term otaku as like an anime fan, but in Japan, the word otaku can mean a fanatic of anything. So like an anime otaku would obviously be a fanatic of otaku, but you have, you know, things like I don't know, train otakus, military otakus, idol otakus, game otakus. Like, it just means a fanatic of something. Like you're extremely obsessed with this one thing. But yeah, I guess overseas otaku just means anime fan.
Yeah, it's kind of been appropriated too, because like I mean, no one else would use that term outside of Japan, aside from just that referencing that.
Yeah,
I guess that's kind of why it's like allowed, like it's okay. Like, but I just want to preface, in a video previously, you have explained otaku. Why is train otaku the first thing that comes to mind when you go to different otakus?
It's because Japan has the community for train otakus is actually so massive in Japan, and I don't understand why. Like, if you go to any train station in Japan, whether it be like a bullet train or just a regular like local train, and you see like a dude, it's usually a dude. There's usually one dude with a massive camera standing right at the edge of the platform waiting for the train to come in. He's most likely a train otaku. I don't know. There's just a lot of people who love trains here, but like a fanatics for it. And I've never understood it personally. But I mean, you know, if you like trains, you like trains, I guess. Like whatever floats your boat, bro. I guess Thomas the Tank Engine really like gave them a big impression when they were little or something. I don't know what, but so whatever you like, dude. If you like trains, then go for it, dude.
Thomas. Oh god. All right. Next up, we have chibi.
Chibi. So chibi is a miniaturized form of an anime character. So in the anime world, a chibi is like tiny character, usually 2 heads tall. Derives from the Japanese word for midget or small, tiny, that kind of word.
I just learned something. I did not know that second part.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Kawaii.
Kawaii means...
General one.
Yes, kawaii means cute. It's the Japanese word for cute or adorable, any of those kinds of words. But I guess kawaii overseas is kind of, there's this thing called the kawaii culture, which is like anything that is cute and adorable can be considered as a kawaii. There's lots of different types of kawaiis. You have like, God, can't think of any. There's lots of different types of kawaiis, basically. Yeah.
All right. And then what we use to reference you a lot, senpai.
Senpai? I guess so. Senpai, I also did a video on this too. Senpai means someone who is of a higher social stature than you are. So it can be anything from if someone is older than you, if someone has more experience in something than you, if someone came before you, then they are usually your senpai. And you have to talk to them. In Japanese, you have to talk to them in some level of respect so that you know that, yes, they are of a higher social stature than they are. And then eventually you'll also become a senpai when you have younglings who look up to you, and then you become the senpai. So that's a senpai.
Then to tack on, it's not on the list, but kohai, then, in that case.
Yes. And then in that case, a kohai is someone with a lower social stature than you. So if you call someone a senpai, they are you are their kohai, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's junior and senior for our US viewers, basically.
Yeah, basically, but of a much higher respect level.
Yeah, it's more of a cultural thing than it is just a general classification. Like in America, you're like, oh, they're my junior. It's just a casual thing. Whereas in Japan, as I understand it at least, it's a more like, no, this is a matter of culture. You have to be respectful to, in certain situations, to people.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. And then what we use to reference ourselves a lot, weeaboo. Weebs, you gotta love us.
Yeah, weeaboo. So, oh man, how do I define weeb without being offensive?
I don't think there is a way.
Yeah, I don't think there is. So I'm just gonna say it how it is. So a weeaboo, I don't think anyone actually knows where the term weeaboo came from, but basically it's a word that describes someone who tries really hard to be, they're not Japanese at all, but they try really hard to be Japanese, but with an unfortunate lack of understanding of being Japanese. So it's like, an example of a weeaboo would be like, oh yeah, I'm Japanese. I eat ramen and sushi every day. Like that it's like that level. It's a certain level of ignorance that somebody has towards a Japanese person or a Japanese culture, that they try and be respectful to Japanese by trying to assimilate with them, but because of their lack of knowledge, they just embarrass themselves. That's the traditional definition of the word weeaboo. So the traditional definition is very negative, but the internet does what the internet does best and destroys the definition of words completely. So nowadays, you have otakus, traditionally otakus, fans of anime, who call themselves weebs, filthy weebs, in kind of a more like more of like an inclusive word, being like, yeah, I suck and so do you. We're all in this together. So
we're all equally horrible.
Yeah, we're all equally horrible and offensive towards Japanese people, but that's okay. They don't need to know about it. We just need to know about it.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like every otaku has their weeb stage. I have mine. I tried learning Japanese on Duolingo. Realized, like you said on one of your podcasts, it's horrible. It's so horrible because it's just too complicated for Duolingo to do.
Yeah.
Like learning on Duo was difficult.
I don't blame anybody who had a weeb phase or is currently in their weeb phase, because I think every overseas otaku goes through that no matter what.
It's a rite of passage, I feel.
It is a rite of passage, and it's a matter of like, if you can overcome that, then that's good, right? But
perfection.
If you're stuck in that stage for like a long amount of time, that's when I have to start judging you.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Now for the more like, I'm gonna say intricate terms. Tsundere.
Tsundere. Okay. A tsundere is a character trope usually found in anime that stems from the two words tsuntsun and dere. Tsuntsun is the onomatopoeia for someone who is very cold and very, like, what's the word? How do I describe it? It's of someone who is like, has an affection towards somebody, but acts cold in front of them because they're embarrassed to show that affection. That's basically what a tsundere is. In anime, usually they are very bitchy, I guess, is the correct word to say. They're usually very bitchy, very cold-hearted, very not affectionate at all. But every now and then, when they get close enough to their love interest, they will show that affectionate side, that dere side. And it's that gap between the cold-heartedness and the loving affection that lays underneath that gets some weebs excited.
Speaking of experience, Joey?
I'm very selective with my tsunderes. I like some. Yeah, exactly. I will represent Shinobu, but you know, for example, like I'm not a fan of Asuka from Evangelion, even though she's a tsundere. I much prefer Rei. So it depends. It depends.
Silent Cinderella's, Joey confirmed.
Yeah. Yes.
Shonen.
Shonen. Shonen is a genre of manga or anime that is traditionally aimed towards young teens. So the word shonen is a Japanese word which means young boy. And your typical shonen anime would be One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball, Bleach, Fairy Tail. Those are all shonen. Usually, if it's very easy to get into and anybody can watch it and it's very popular, most likely that's a shonen. So My Hero Academia, Haikyuu, those are all shonen. But
I'll throw a curveball at you then with that statement. Shoujo.
Okay, shoujo is the opposite. Shoujo means young girl. And shoujo manga, usually the demographic is aimed towards teen girls. A lot of shoujo manga and anime tend to be romance themed because girls like romance. Girls like cute romance. And I mean, I don't blame them. I love my shoujo as well, even though I'm a dude, but that's okay because a lot of girls like shonen. So traditional shoujo would be like Sailor Moon, Lyrical Nanoha, what else? Cutie Honey.
I'm not embarrassed to say I was a Mew Mew Power fan back in the day.
Oh yeah.
I'm not ashamed to say it. Trust me, people. Anime community, we are very open. You like what you like. You had your past. It's okay.
It's okay. Dude, growing up, I watched more Sailor Moon than I did Dragon Ball. So
I never got to experience the joy of Sailor Moon. Actually, I never.
Oh, it's still great.
The joy. I just never got to enjoy it growing up, and I really am sad about that. I never got to enjoy the cult. Like, I enjoyed Mew Mew, which is so obscure that very few people know about it. And I never got to enjoy Sailor Moon, which literally everyone else knows about.
Well, that's the thing, right? If you didn't grow up with Sailor Moon, then you most likely grew up with Tokyo Mew Mew.
Oh, okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Isekai, something that has been used to death.
Yes. So isekai is another... I don't even want to call it a genre of anime, but I guess it's become a genre of anime. Yeah. So isekai is a Japanese word for another world. And as the name suggests, it is a quote-unquote genre of anime. I guess it's more of a trope. It's a trope of anime where the main character or main characters get teleported to another world. So that might be a completely fantasy world. That might be, teleported into a game, for example, which is one that a lot of people watch. Sword Art Online, Log Horizon, Grimgar Fantasy and Ash. Those are all isekai. Even though isekai have been around for a long time, technically speaking, most people tend to chalk it up as like a recent phenomenon, but that's only because for some reason the light novel industry right now is having a massive isekai boom for some reason, probably because of the success of Sword Art Online. But technically speaking, classic shows like Inuyasha and Bleach are technically isekai because they do go to another world. So think about that one for a second.
Take that and eat it.
Yeah, take that and eat it.
Joey just dropping the mic on all the intellectual animes like, oh, excuse you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then one I feel very fitting that I convinced our director to put in these questions because it just works with you so well. Hentai.
See, I knew you were going to say that. Okay. All right. Well, luckily I don't have to worry about this interview getting demonetized, so that's all right. So hentai is it is anime that is not quite safe for work. It is essentially Japanese animated pornography. The word itself, hentai, actually stems from the same word in Japanese, hentai, but it means pervert. You actually call people hentai in Japanese. So in Japan, if you'd say hentai, they won't actually understand what you mean. They won't actually they won't think that you're talking about Japanese animated porn because they have a different word for that. So that's another word, much like otaku, that has been kind of generalized as just this is the word for Japanese porn. Yeah, and it is a topic I am very passionate about personally. Because too many people are scared to talk about it online, and I'm like, why? Yeah, just follow me on Twitter, and your entire feed will be so full of hentai that you won't be able to use Twitter in public anymore. So yeah, you're welcome for that.
Follow him on Twitter to become cultured.
Exactly. If you want, so a lot of people think that I just like all this hentai just because I'm horny on main. No, I follow hentai on Twitter because I want to give appreciation to these amazing artists, because a lot of them are really amazing artists. It's just that they draw pornography, but that doesn't mean that they're any less of an amazing artist. So I'm not spreading porn on my Twitter. I'm spreading art. Okay. That's the difference you have to understand.
But side note, Sexercise does have beautiful art.
Exactly. And it's a funny story. It's wholesome. It's weirdly wholesome, and I don't understand why.
If you want to understand some of these side jokes, fans, you may want to go check out Joey's content. I guarantee it is great and good for a hell of a laugh.
Thank you.
It's one hell of a ride, though.
Just be prepared.
All right. Be prepared. So now we're going to get into more like anime focused questions. This is where we can get a little bit more interesting with your answers.
Okay.
So what is the weirdest series you've ever watched, but for some unknown reason you just enjoyed it immensely? Like, it is weirdest. Absolutely garbage, but you love it.
We're talking like guilty pleasure anime.
Basically.
Okay. Okay.
Like, why does this exist? I love it.
I have a lot. One that is probably most well known in my community is there's this particular anime called Kiss Sis, which is absolutely garbage, but I love it. I have all like 22 volumes of the manga on my shelf. It's so bad, but I love it.
So good.
But it's so good. I don't understand. Another one is Yosuga no Sora is another one. It's like a really obscure like anime that's based off an eroge from like the mid 2000s. Most people will tell you that it's garbage, and I agree. I think it's garbage, but I love it. I don't get why. I think it's absolutely terrible, but it's so good. I don't get it.
Listen, I understand it's garbage. Just let me enjoy it in peace.
Exactly. I'm not guilty of my guilty pleasure anime. They're just pleasure anime for me. Like, I'm not guilty.
No guilt whatsoever. No shame. No discrimination here. Don't worry about it.
No, exactly. If you like what you like, then that's all you should care about, right?
Yeah. So you often do a series roundup. If I'm not mistaken, you've done a series roundup already, I think a month ago, about what you're going to be watching in the coming seasons. I think it was last month.
Okay.
What are you most looking forward to in this coming season? So I think it's the fall, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's the fall.
Yeah, the fall anime. Yeah, the fall anime, which starts in October, so literally next week of us recording this. Yeah, next month. One I'm most looking forward to. Oh, that's a hard question, because not gonna lie, I thought this year's anime was kind of weak compared to the last couple of years. Yeah, these last couple of seasons haven't really been a whole lot of shows that have like really stuck out to me. I mean, there's been a few, but compared to the last couple of years, I feel the lineups are slightly weak. But this fall anime, there's a couple that I'm really looking forward to. They're remaking Higarashi, which still blows my mind to think about, because that's an anime from, oh my god, 16 years ago that is getting remade. Wow. So that's going to be really exciting to see, because I really enjoyed the original one. They're also making a sequel, technically a sequel to Inuyasha, which is also interesting because I love Inuyasha. Oh man, what else is there? There's a lot. There's Golden Kamuy season 3, which I'm keen for.
I'm looking forward to Mahoka season, the next season of Mahoka, because I'm just like, yes, irregular.
yeah. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that one too. There's also Danmachi season 3 as well, which got announced. Yeah, that's gonna be sick. Yeah, I think the fall anime season there's a decent amount of really good ones. So hopefully they're good.
we can only hope as fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So how do you feel the anime industry, this is a more technical question, how do you feel the anime industry has grown over the last 10 years? Like, how do you feel it's like expanded?
I definitely do think it's expanded in the sense that 10 years ago, if you asked the anime industry, hey, do you know what's happening with anime fans overseas, they'd probably tell you, no, we don't know and we don't care. Because the Japanese anime industry is so, I guess, traditional that they only care about the local market. They only care about what Japanese people are buying and what kind of series Japanese people are liking in Japan. But nowadays, especially in the last 10 years, I'd say especially in the last like 2 years, the anime industry, a lot of parts of the anime industry now are fully aware of the outside market. Like, they're fully aware of international weebs who eat up anime and eat up manga and eat up everything that the anime industry has to offer so much more than the Japanese market, that now the Japanese anime industry is like, oh, okay, now we see you. Now we see that there is a massive market, and hence why, you know, so many conventions all over the world are able to get people from the Japanese anime industry to do announcements and, you know, do movie premieres and stuff like that, which you never saw 10 years ago. Like, no way. You never saw that. And even, like, I'm seeing in Japan, there are definitely a lot more, like, places that are catered towards international otakus now. Like, 10 years ago, if you went to Akihabara, which is, if you don't know, is the mecca for weebs, essentially. It's like anime town. If you went to Akihabara 10 years ago, like, you would see everything is in Japanese. But nowadays, when you go around, like, a lot of the stores now have English-speaking staff, and a lot of places also sell, you know, like, English manga, and you know, just they're a lot more catering to international fans now, I feel, because I think the industry itself now is more aware of people coming from overseas to Japan to go to Akihabara, essentially, to live out their weeaboo dream, essentially. So yeah, I think, like, it's definitely good, because I think that with the growth of anime YouTube, I mean, look, not to pat our own backs here, but I think the anime YouTuber world,
Yes.
because that has grown so much, the industry has started to realize that there are people overseas who like anime just as much as the Japanese do. And I'm sure there's, like, a lot of different factors that come into that as well. It's not just us, but I think just because, like...
Yeah. No, I was
go
gonna say,
on.
no, you can't diminish your own contributions, because I agree, the NHuber community has kind of, like, influenced people to be like, hey, have you looked at this stuff? This stuff is actually interesting. Like, so I would agree, don't diminish your own contributions. You guys probably have been an amazing part of the community. You, Misty, Cronexia, Noble, Lost Paws, Aki Dearest, like, all you people have influenced the Western community to kind of approach anime, like, more.
Right, and it's
contributions.
No, and you know, definitely, it's not only the big anitubers either. Like, I think just the anitubing world in general has just become so much bigger over the last 5 years. I like to, I've said in previous interviews, like, I think the anitube world in the past 5 years has kind of had this almost renaissance where there are so many more people now who are just coming out into the open about liking anime, whereas 10 years ago, I'm sure there were just as many fans back then as well, but a lot of them did not like to admit that they liked anime publicly because of, you know, potential ridicule or, you know, exclusivity and stuff like that. But nowadays, you can go like I'm jealous of kids today who can go to school and openly say and admit that they like anime, and more likely than not they won't even get bullied because liking anime is such a normal thing now. Whereas 10 years ago when I was in school, if you said that you liked anime, you'd get beaten up. So
The only thing you could get away with was Dragon Ball, I think. Personally.
right. It was
The
like
only thing you
Dragon
got away
Ball
with was
and
Dragon
like
Ball.
yeah, it's like Dragon Ball and like
Yu-Gi-Oh!
maybe and maybe Naruto, but even then that was like stepping into the
Stretch.
boundary a little bit more, right? But nowadays it's kind of the opposite. If you go up to someone and say I like Dragon Ball and Naruto, most likely than not people will be like, wow, that's so normie, right? So
It's so mainstream. Ugh.
yeah, that's so mainstream, dude. Wow, what are you, a normie? So like it's really weird how that has completely changed, and I think because more weebs, especially overseas, are so much more open. And even in Japan, like, there are less people now who get bullied in school for liking anime because now everyone just likes anime. It's such a common thing now. And so I think because of that, the industry has definitely grown more to, I guess, appreciate that, especially overseas, because I think now finally people in the Japanese anime industry, like, I think it's finally clicking in, being like, oh, wow, there are more people overseas who are willing to watch anime and pay for anime and manga and goods like that than the entire population of Japan. So maybe we should start caring about those people too.
Yeah. But what I like is that they don't really need to change much, because the reason Western people are watching a lot of anime and reading a lot of manga is because we're interested in that culture. So the nice thing for Japan is they don't really need to change anything. They just need to market more, but they don't need to change how they write their stories, what they do with their characters, how they do their things. Because the reason the Western culture is interested is because of how they do things. So they don't need to change anything. They just need to market more to other countries as well.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the moment that the Japanese anime industry starts catering their stories to the Western market, I think that's when the magic kind of gets lost, because then it wouldn't really be different to just turning on your TV and watching your local cartoon that's airing on your TV, right? Like, so, yeah, I think, I do think, like, you know, the Japanese industry, anime industry, should just continue to be weird, just cater, like, write the stories and cater to the Japanese audience, but then use that weirdness to market to the Western audience, and you have a match made in heaven, basically.
It really is. Now this is more of like a controversial question, I guess, in the community. It's about the big three. So what, in your opinion, what has the big three contributed to the community? So Naruto, One Piece, Bleach were considered the big three. I would argue Fairy Tail and Dragon Ball also should have been in there. So for me, it's not a big three. It's like the Shonen Kings for me.
Yeah.
So what do you feel their contribution is, and what do you think is the next? Because we can see the next gen of like the Shonen trio starting their heads.
Well, I do think that when it comes to the traditional big three, like the Golden Age big three, as I like to call it, the One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball, I actually think the big three is One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball, rather than One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, because I think Bleach, I don't know, Bleach and Fairy Tail are in a really weird position, because yes, they are just as big as One Piece, Naruto, and Dragon Ball, but I think the amount of influence that One Piece, Naruto, and Dragon Ball has given culturally and societally is way bigger than what Bleach and Fairy Tail have given, because, I mean, I think there are more people who only watched One Piece or Naruto or Dragon Ball rather than people who only watch Bleach and Fairy Tail, right? Like, I think Bleach and Fairy Tail were kind of just like the DLC that you couldn't avoid downloading if you already had bought this game. You know what I mean?
I
like
love the DLC.
right. No, the DLC's great. I mean, not to put down, you know, the success of Bleach and Fairy Tail. Like, they're just as massive, right? But I think culturally, the amount of cultural, I guess, influence that especially shows like Naruto and Dragon Ball are given to the Western community was absolutely massive, right? And One Piece is kind of in its special realm because it's still going. It's the only one that's still going.
946, I think, is this week's episode.
Something like that. And
I stopped watching for after 900 because I'm like trying to like wait and then I'll like spam watch.
yeah, I'm kind of like that too. The last I watched of One Piece was the Punk Hazard arc, which is like 4 arcs ago.
Jeez, like.
Yeah, so I have a lot. I have to watch Dressrosa, Cake Island, Wano. Like I have a lot to catch up on.
I stopped off the Cake. I'm waiting on Wano.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But concerning the new big three, I would say the new big three right now. That's hard to say. I'd probably have to say Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, and Demon Slayer. I reckon those are the big three right now.
Okay.
Yeah, just because, I mean, Attack on Titan, I think is, depending on how well this last season does, I think can easily be classified as a modern masterpiece. I think Attack on Titan is absolutely brilliant in every aspect. My Hero Academia's influence is just insane right now. Like I think My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer right now are two shonen series that are getting just as much, if not more, traction than Dragon Ball and Naruto back in the day. Like, I don't think there's a single anime fan who doesn't know My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer. And I don't think there's a single anime convention in the last 2 years or so where you don't see a Demon Slayer or My Hero Academia cosplay. Like, it's just everybody overseas knows those shows. And same thing in Japan.
Contribute that to like the previous question, how you said how it's become anime's more mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the more mainstream, like interesting animes are like kind of drawing that attention as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that goes back to the whole, you know, the definition that I gave to the word shonen, right? Is that the common trait of all of these big threes from past and present is that they're all shonens. So it's just shonen just has this very it's inoffensive in its content that anybody can get into it, right? Yeah. Like anybody can sit down and start watching My Hero Academia or Demon Slayer or Attack on Titan or even any of the big three because it doesn't challenge the viewer and doesn't alienate the viewer to the extent that other shows might. Like it's very easy to understand. It's enjoyable in its content. Yeah, right. Well, I mean, not even just the Uzaki-chan, right? Like I could go extremely niche and be like, hey, you should watch Technolize. It's a great show. It's just really freaking slow. It's a great show. But Ergo I'm not gonna. Yeah, or Ergo Proxy, right? Or Serial Experiments Lane. Like, those are all amazing anime that I think are brilliant in its own way, but it is also very difficult to get into, especially if you've never watched anime. So I think that's why Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, and Demon Slayer are probably the big three currently. And then I guess, like, the modern day Bleach and Fairy Tail, like, the tack-ons to the big three would be, like, Haikyuu would definitely be one. Oh man, what else? Maybe Love Live in a sense.
I like to think of Black Clover as Fairy Tail's replacement.
Yeah, I think so. I think Fairy Tail is replaceable with Black Clover. I mean, you know, technically speaking, Mashima Hero's currently doing Eden Zero, right? Which is technically just Fairy Tail but reskinned. So.
Boruto.
Yeah, I mean, well, see, Boruto's in a really weird state because Boruto is not widely accepted by the Naruto community. Even though it is technically a successor to Naruto, most people will be like, oh, you're a Naruto fan, you must like Boruto. But a lot of Naruto fans will be like, no, I don't like Boruto. I only like Naruto.
Yeah.
So that's a weird relationship that I've seen. Right. Yeah.
Okay, so then to tack onto that, like, so you feel Bleach is more of an addendum. You think that it's One Piece, Naruto, and Dragon Ball. But then what do you think the effect is going to be next year when Bleach returns in 2021? Because personally, Bleach was my starting anime, my starting shonen, not Dragon Ball in them. So it has a special place in my heart. So I'm super excited for 2021. What do you feel the general effect, though, on the community is going to be? with Bleach returning? It's the last season, so there's nothing more after. So what do you think is going to happen?
Right. I mean, I've been closely keeping an eye on the new Bleach because I also love the Bleach manga. I thought the Soul Society arc is one of the most hype shonen arcs in, like, it's not the best, but it's definitely in like the top 3 when it comes to like the most hype shonen arcs. So I freaking loved it. But I think the weird, I guess, like burden that the Bleach name is gonna carry, even I think into the new anime season, is that the anime just kind of, and even the manga, had that massive drop after the Soul Society arc, namely the Aizen arc, which is an arc that if you say the word Aizen arc to any Bleach fan, they will most likely wince at the sound of that word, because it is it is an arc in Bleach that followed the most hype arc in all of Bleach that was so bad that it almost got the manga cancelled. So, and the anime ended with that, and because the anime basically got cancelled because of the Aizen arc. And so I think for people who have a prior knowledge of Bleach and who continue to read it, they would know that after the Aizen arc, there's a lot of really good arcs. The Hueco Mundo arc is really freaking good. But I think for most people who only watch the anime, I don't think after the Aizen arc, they're going to be that keen to go back into Bleach, because it is a massive commitment, especially if you're just like a casual fan of Bleach. I mean, I'm going to watch it definitely, and I'm going to be interested to see how Bleach has grown in the over 10 years that it's been off air. I think I don't remember the last time that Bleach was airing. I think it was before 2010, right? I think
we've been waiting, I think, 6 to 7 years for this final season, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yeah. So almost 10 years.
But yeah, it's close.
Yeah, almost a decade. So it's a very long time. But I mean, yeah, I think it's really funny when that first announcement popped up on social media and on the internet. Like, all the Bleach fans kind of came out of their like bomb shelters and was like, "Is it safe to go out? Finally, is it safe? Can we leave? Can we leave the bunker?" So yeah, no, I'm gonna be excited for it because again, like I was mostly a manga reader for Bleach. And as much as I despise the Aizen arc, like everybody else, I pushed forward and I continued to read on, hoping that it would get better. And it does get better in some instances, like the Grimjo fight is freaking awesome. But you won't know that unless you continue past the Aizen arc. Yeah. So, yeah, so there's definitely a lot of it. I don't know actually where the new Bleach anime is going to start from. Is it going to start like right after the Aizen arc?
Yeah, I think I think it's going to start from so basically straight after, from the Vondenreich invasion, I think. So like as they're invading Soul Society and messing a lot of people up. Don't worry, people, I won't spoil. But I'm assuming it's going to start straight away when Yuha literally walks in and is like, "Hi, let me introduce myself."
Oh, okay.
I assume it's going to start straight away from there, because that's a great opening to just like build the hype. Like, everything's fine, and then all of a sudden, hi, Quincy's.
Yeah. Okay. Then I think depending on how well they're going to execute that into animation form, I think it's going to be super hype. Yeah, and I mean, I'm hoping that it's good, because I think Bleach really got snubbed hard by the community, especially after the Aizen arc. So I'm praying that it's going to be good. That's all I can say for now.
So whether it's good or bad, I'm gonna ride or die with it all the way to the end. I will ride or die with my.
That's the right attitude to have, though, as a fan.
Kubo Sensei, I will ride and die with you all the way to the finish line.
I'm more actually.
For our fans watching this interview, we also have Johnny Young Bosch as a virtual guest here at Comic-Con.
Awesome.
So be sure to check that out while you're here.
I did a panel with Johnny at one of the cons in America. Yeah, he was freaking awesome. He's great. He's a great dude.
Like, I would love to meet the man in person.
Yeah.
Just to move a lot. Oh, so now this is a more this next question. Just to moving away from the shonens, because I feel like we've stayed here for a little bit. Just to move away to a more like personal place. What series has resonated with you, like on a deep level, that you didn't expect it to? Like you weren't expecting this to happen when you walked into the series, but you left it with something you can't explain as just a little bit more of yourself.
That's hard. I think when it comes to anime, definitely Clannad for me. That was an anime that I thought I was not going to enjoy, but then I watched Clannad After Story, which is season 2, and I've never cried harder in my life. That anime, especially that second half, the second half of Clannad After Story, absolutely destroyed me emotionally. And like just that series in general really, like, I guess made me, I don't know, it made me appreciate the importance of family, which I think is the whole underlying message of Clannad, which I think is a beautiful message, because it seems like such a stereotypical message of like, you know, your family is number one, you know, take care of your family. But Clannad kind of presented that very stereotypical message in a very beautiful and like almost artistic way. So yeah, that was like really good. Another anime that really like influenced me hard was March Comes In Like a Lion. That, which I will forever stand for. Not enough people have watched March Comes In Like a Lion, in my opinion, because that is such a beautiful story of someone who is really good at something, but because he's really good at something, because he's really good at this one thing, that is what's causing him to be really sad. Which is probably the worst description I can give to March Comes In Like a Lion. But trust me, that anime is really hits hard. Like, I had a couple of moments where I was like, wow, that's deep, bro. So yeah, that's one that like really gave me like I think it especially hit me different because of the fact that I am in a very like creative and competitive field like YouTube. And I think for anyone who is in a field like that, not just YouTube, like, you know, with anything, like if you're in like a competitive scene of something, then I think that anime is going to really hit you hard on a number of levels.
All right. What is your opinion of manhwa surging in interest in the anime community? Like, I'm personally excited, like with things like Tower of God, and I'm not enjoying it, but it's still good exposure. God of High School. Like these manhwas that are like, let's test these and see where it goes. What do you think? What are your hopes for that? Like,
I'm really optimistic about it. I mean, I've dabbled in Tower of God and God of High School in the manhwa form and in the anime form to varying levels of enjoyability. And next season we're essentially finishing off the trifecta of a manhwa with Noblesse, which I guess will complete like the big three of manhwa, basically: God of Tower, God of High School, Tower of God, God of High School, and Noblesse. Out of those three, I definitely enjoyed Noblesse the most, so I'm pretty keen for that anime. But even manhwa series like Sweet Home, Solo Leveling.
Yes.
Yeah, Solo Leveling's brilliant. I don't know. I think it's just really cool that we kind of getting something that's familiar but also very unique. And you know, I don't think it would have the same effect. Like, I don't think, you know, shows like that would have the same effect if it was made in Japan with a very traditional anime mindset, like traditional Japanese mindset. And you know, we're giving great exposure to some really talented Korean artists and storytellers, and you know, what more can you have, right? Like more enjoyability in different formats, I think is a great way to like kind of revitalize the creative spark in the anime and manga industry, because truth be told, it's slowly getting a little stale. I've read manga and watched anime for a long time, and I can tell you firsthand, stuff is getting a bit stale recently. So manhwa coming in from left field has been like a really nice, refreshing take on that kind of entertainment.
All right, nice. And this wouldn't be a great interview without ending it with controversy. What is your take on the Anilog YouTube channel that is being created to bring free anime to combat piracy sites?
Okay, yeah. I saw a lot of so I saw a lot of people make videos on this, and every single video I watched, in the back of my head I was like, man, that is a crap opinion. But I because unfortunately I think a lot of people who made videos on who saw the analog thing and saw all of these like really old and obscure anime and were very disappointed, being like, oh, I was expecting to be able to watch One Piece and Naruto and Dragon Ball for free on this YouTube channel. But I think a lot of people completely miss the point of the analog YouTube channel with all of these like old obscure anime, because a lot of these older anime that are going onto the analog YouTube channel now, first of all, have completely their copyright stuff like that. I know I'm getting a bit technical, but like the copyright stuff around those series now is so old that it's basically now become free real estate, right? Like they don't have to worry about copyright anymore because of the age of it. But second of all, a lot of these anime that are going to be on the analog YouTube channel are anime series that have influenced every other anime series that we watch today. So if you're interested in, I guess, the history behind anime and where all of these modern day influences that shows like One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball, where their references and influences came from, then you got to go and watch the old stuff. And a lot of the older stuff, like, don't let the age of the show fool you, because a lot of the shows that are going to be on the analog YouTube channel are just as fantastic now as they were 50 years ago. So I would highly implore, I don't want people to, I guess, look at this analog YouTube channel thing as like, you know, something that had so much potential but failed in delivery, because I don't think that's the case at all. I think what they set out to do, which is to give the spotlight to these older shows that no longer get sales anymore, and put it on a YouTube channel for it to get sales again and to get more exposure towards new anime fans, I think is a great way to, I guess, get, you know, current newer anime fans to appreciate the older stuff. And I think that's what we need to do, because again, all of these older shows are very important to the growth of anime. And I think watching those older shows will give you a much deeper and better understanding of just how anime works and where anime came from. And if you call yourself an anime fan, then I think that's something that you should, you know, you should most likely be interested in, right? Like, where did all these influences come from? Like, what was the start of it all? And you have the analog YouTube channel now that you can watch fully legally now because it's just on YouTube. So, yeah. Yeah, I didn't make a video for this exact reason. I didn't want to piss people off with my opinion.
You know what? I said we had to end it off right, so I think we'll leave it there to spare you any Twitter clout. That's just
yeah, it's okay. I'm used to it at this point.
On the plus side, this is pre-recorded, so you have time to get ready for the storm. Batten down the hatches and lock yourself in.
It's all right. I'm not afraid because I'm not afraid because I know I'm not wrong. So.
And with that, we have run out of time for today. Joey, it has been a pleasure to interview you as a fan and as an interviewer, and I hope this has been fun for everyone else. But before we go, just give our fans, where can they find you if they love this boy right here? If they would like to learn more about his hot takes on YouTube and Twitter, where can they find you?
You can find me on The Anime Man, youtube.com/The Anime Man. On Twitter, you can find me at The Anime Man, but instead of an I, it's a 1. So, because some dude on Twitter took The Anime Man handle like 5 years ago, and I haven't been able to grab it since. So, yeah, it's just The Anime Man with a 1. I'm also on Twitch. I stream a lot of games and all that kind of stuff as well. So twitch.tv/theanimeman. And yeah, I guess every other social media link you can find on my YouTube channel. So just go over there if you'd like to. If you're like a half Japanese dude to spurt his non-important opinions at you and construct it as fact, then come on to the Anime Man channel.
What's the internet for aside from hot takes?
Exactly.
But you know what? We don't judge. So with that being said, we'd like to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you again.
That was awesome. Give it up for the Anime Man. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Hope you guys are enjoying your day. Stay comfortable. We're going to have awesome